such a time as this.
And welcome to For Such a Time as This round table. Thank you all. I would ask that you give me a thumbs up out there just to let me know we are coming through loud and clear. Thank you so much. Our topic tonight, R.I.P. Roe v. Wade? ? Is that true? Is that true? Looking at it from a Christian perspective, is that true? Is Roe v. Wade, to the believer, dead? Is it gone? Is it buried? Can we just move on? Or is there work to be done? I have with me tonight the power couple, Eric and Lisajoy. How are we doing, power couple number one?
We are fine.
You fine?
We're excited. There is a decision that has been made, and I am excited about it. However, I don't mean to spill any beans here, but no, there's absolutely there's work to do. Good.
Hey, for those of you who are out there listening, please subscribe to our channel. Send us an email of encouragement. We're doing well. We're actually picking up steam on Rumble as we are fading on YouTube. Fading on YouTube. Thank you, what is that? Ilsatka? Am I pronouncing that right on YouTube? Loud and clear. I appreciate it. All right. Rest in peace, Roe v. Wade? ? Not so fast. And I will say not so fast because here's my premise. I think as the believer, our goal of the Church of Jesus Christ is not to end abortion. Although I am satisfied, I am happy about the decision to end Roe v. Wade and send it back to the states. There's still work to be done, i.e. people will not go to heaven simply because they stopped or overturned Roe v. Wade. I think the Christian has a way to go. But before we go any further, let's do an intro about the reaction of this Roe v. Wade thing. Wow. People are losing their minds. Here we go.
Abortion rights supporters in Florida rallying against that state's 15-week abortion ban set to take effect on Friday.
This will represent the most significant protections for life that have been enacted in this state in a generation.
Planned Parenthood and the ACLU suing to block that new law, which has no exception for rape or incest. Florida is one of more than a dozen states where bans or severe restrictions are likely to go into effect soon. Trigger laws in Louisiana and Utah now on hold, but in these 10 states, bans are already on the books. Harris County, Texas, seeing a temporary reprieve after a restraining order issued Tuesday allowed some clinics to resume abortions until the 6-week mark. Ohio's 6-week ban was in place just hours after Friday's Supreme Court ruling was announced.
This decision returns abortion policy to the place it has always belonged, to the elected policy branches of government.
The City Council will vote Wednesday on changes to their health plan, allowing city employees and their families to be covered for elective abortions.
We'll also include other basic medical needs, including birth control and vitro fertilization, transgender care, and other family health care needs if those treatments become unavailable in Ohio.
California also acting quickly in the wake of Roe being overturned.
I just signed an executive order that solidifies California's status as a reproductive safe haven for women.
An amendment will now be on the ballot in November to formalize the right to abortion under the state constitution. The governor also signing an order banning state agencies from sharing patients' reproductive health care information with other states, as concern grows about how some states may use that information to prosecute providers or patients.
So there's a big legal battle coming. We're going to see, I believe, a spate of lawsuits with DOJ trying to strike down state laws that reach into other states.
Nearly 24 attorneys general have pledged to support and even expand access to abortion care in their states and Washington, D.C. as the legal battles intensify.
So there you have it.
Did you notice the California one?
What
where
is
he
it?
says to become a reproductive safe haven.
Yeah, I was
I'm like,
bring
how
that up.
is that? That's almost like
But they've always said that.
But it's actually an oxymoron.
I was just about to say that. Yes, it's an oxymoron. Reproductive
safe haven.
Safe haven,
No,
as you're
you
destroying
can't
the reproductive
yes.
process.
I'm
Right,
like,
exactly.
that is just
Exactly.
Yeah, you know
insane.
but even that illustrates. Remember, I just say if you always want to know what the Democrats mean, it's the opposite of what they're saying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sad. I mean that is unbelievable. Reproductive safe haven. No, you're the exact opposite of reproductive safe haven.
They describe it as reproductive rights.
Reproductive rights. And again,
Ridiculous.
You know, if everyone would take responsibility before they actually
Yep.
got to the bedroom, I
Yep.
mean, that would be
Yes.
where you take
Yes.
responsibility of your
Right.
body before you get there.
Yes.
Then it doesn't cause someone else to go through murder.
Yeah. And you know what? As Christians, again, you're right. I think we have to be clear on the issue, right? The stork doesn't bring babies. Sex does.
Yep.
And sex usually, usually has the potential of bringing a life into the world.
Well, actually, it's designed for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. And unless there are some surgeries taking place or abnormalities in which either the man or the woman cannot reproduce naturally, if both are healthy and things are working, baby gonna come.
Something's coming.
Yeah, and so you're right. As Christians, I think the battle is far more reaching than abortion. You should not, and Christians should be sharing, you should not be having sex out of marriage. Right? That's the clear message of Christianity, and we've lost that.
We've
lost that.
There is a process that we should be biblically following. And I made a mistake earlier today. I said it starts in the church. No. It's supposed to start with the family, huh?
What starts in the church? I'm sorry.
The whole process of teaching childbearing and child rearing. There's a process supposed.
God's plan.
Yeah. And
Should
that
happen in the home.
thank you. It shouldn't happen in school. It shouldn't even have to happen at church. I mean, those are, for lack of a better term, safeguards.
Well, you know what? I think all of us probably have stories of when we've asked questions at home and got a shocked look or shamed or mom and dad are embarrassed. And I'm thinking when I was raising my kids, I didn't want them to be embarrassed. I wanted them to ask me. I don't want them to go in because I had to find out on the playground. And that's not a good place to find out.
Well, the Roe v. Wade had far-reaching implications, and everyone wanted to comment on the United States of America's Supreme Court ruling, which shows you just how influential and powerful we are. We are the leaders of the Western world. And all of these, okay, I'm going to be nice, never mind. All of these heads of state wanted to comment on our Supreme Court, in my opinion, finally doing the right thing.
The court's ruling is reverberating far beyond the country's borders. CBS's Ian Lee is in our London bureau with the international reaction. Ian.
Adriana, the court's ruling made the front pages despite the UK's own current political turmoil, underscoring the significance of the decision.
When
the Supreme Court struck down Roe versus Wade, the whole world was watching and reacted. In Paris, several dozen protesters took to the streets in solidarity. French President Emmanuel Macron tweeted, "Abortion is a fundamental right for all women. It must be protected." Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also took to social media saying, "The news coming out of the United States is horrific. No government, politician, or man should tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body." British Prime Minister Boris Johnson also condemned the decision.
Clearly, it has massive impacts on people's thinking around the world. It's a very important decision. I've got to tell you, I think it's a big step backwards.
The overturning of Roe comes as many countries have eased restrictions on abortions in recent years, including overwhelmingly Catholic Ireland, Mexico, and Colombia. But the Vatican praised yesterday's decision, saying, "By choosing life, our responsibility for the future of humanity is at stake." According to the Center for Reproductive Rights, the United States now joins just 2 other countries who have restricted abortion in the 21st century. Compare that to roughly 50 countries over the past decades who've made getting an abortion easier for women. Adriana?
And I say, who cares what Boris, what's his name? Johnson thinks.
But you know what's funny? All of these countries that are making comments have stricter laws than what we did.
Yep. You know,
all of them, France included.
Yeah, most people don't even realize that.
They can't have abortion after a certain point.
Yeah. They do not have abortion over 9 months.
No.
Yet they want to open up their mouths. Well, anyway, I'm sorry. But for the life of me, I cannot understand other than a severe spiritual blindness, I cannot understand how people can be so blinded to the fact that you are, with all of the ultrasounds and the imaging, that there's still a how can you say, a carelessness or a heartlessness or a hard-heartedness that you're killing babies. That's not up for dispute anymore. What was the saying again? If the womb had a window, abortions would stop. Well, the womb has windows now, right? This was back in the 70s or whatever. Well, the womb has a huge window.
They're not looking. There's a window.
So? No, I think
you're
they're
being
looking,
nice,
and
Eric.
I think there's a satanic force at play.
I do think there's a satanic force at play, but I also think they're not looking. Planned Parenthood, if you go through that process, one of the things they would rather you not do is look at the baby.
Screen. I know, but they see it. They see it, and even the women that have gone in time and time again, they know what they're doing. They see it.
They're trying not to.
Well, they are.
I'm
but there's
not
people
saying
that are
they're
just
not intellectually aware of it, but they are trying their level best not to do what is going to show them the truth.
Oh yeah, they try to hide, and that's going to be like our 5th video with a mother-daughter. It's weird. It's a weird video. It's just, oh my goodness, it's just weird. But again, as Christians, what should we do? Are Christians supposed to take a victory lap because Roe v. Wade was overturned? Or go ahead.
It really wasn't overturned per se. What they actually did is they took the federal control of it away.
But that's what Roe v. Wade was. They struck it down.
So now it, as I guess it should have, it's now back to the individual states.
And that's
now,
the way it should have been.
If you notice, there were a couple of states that were on the starting line ready to sprint to a signature.
Trigger laws, yeah.
But as far as taking a victory lap, have we stopped abortions? Not at all.
Well,
that's not true because some of these states, their Planned Parenthoods are closing down.
Yeah.
They have to shut down.
Yeah.
As soon as this was overturned, they weren't legally able to do what they're doing.
You're right, because people have to think about it. A lot of the abortions take place after 6 weeks. if you outlaw abortions after 6 weeks, a lot of Planned Parenthood.
Well,
that's
here's
in
the thing.
essence, you're shutting them down.
They have said, oh yeah, we do this and with that, and someone said, oh, if abortion isn't your main business, then why are you shutting it down?
Right, exactly.
And they're shutting down.
Counseling, all these things they said they were doing.
Exactly.
Lying.
Abortion is a small portion of what we do. So you shouldn't care whether or not it's illegal because it's a small portion.
No.
But the emotions continue, people, to run high.
Talks, but taking center stage, the battle over abortion back at
Judges on the Supreme Court overturned 50 years of abortion protections.
All of our rights are just being taken away.
I support the overturning of Roe v. Wade. I believe that millions of lives are going to be saved.
Despite a leaked draft opinion previewing what the court would do, the shock's still visceral.
Did it feel different reading it knowing it was real?
Absolutely. I told my friend, they sent me a screenshot, I said, this isn't real.
I'm not surprised, but I still can't believe that it's true.
We won't go back!
The protests largely peaceful. Gatherings once again outside the justice's D.C. area homes Friday. And stretching from coast to coast today. NBC's Jesse Kirsch is in New York.
Here in New York City, another day of protests expected tomorrow with Planned Parenthood now kicking off the annual Pride March.
The president Friday urging restraint, but some passions flaring into violence too. On Friday night in Rhode Island, a state Democratic candidate punched in the face by her Republican opponent, who has since dropped his bid. In conservative-led Iowa, a truck plowing through a crowd of abortion rights activists. And in Arizona, where abortion is banned after 15 weeks, protesters gathered at the state Senate, scattered by tear gas that police say they fired after people began damaging the building. No one was hurt. And back here in D.C., double fencing and high security outside the court. Congress temporarily closed its doors to visitors Friday, too, in anticipation of massive continued protests.
Now go back. When that truck was plowing through protesters of pro-choice, look at that video again. They were running after the truck. He wasn't plowing through nothing. But anyway.
I didn't see anybody getting hit.
No, because they want you to believe that the pro-life people are doing this to the pro-choice.
Exactly.
And you know that's not true.
Exactly. Again, abortion, should we be taking a victory lap? Here's what I would say as a believer. If you could win the battle on abortion and outlaw abortion and even change people's minds about abortion, have you done your job as a believer? Have we done our job as the church? No, we have not. Our job is to preach the gospel. I will say this, and we've got a guest coming on. Jay, he's been on the program for many a times. He's going to come on because he has a lot of questions that we're going to field, and he has a lot of tough questions that Eric and Lisajoy will answer since they're the experts today.
Oh.
But
wait,
so
that
he's gonna
wait, that wasn't part of the prep here.
Well, I'll just let you know.
Okay.
But
thanks.
But here's the thing. Our goal is not to stop abortion. Although I'm happy we speak truth in that area, our goal is to use even the sins of abortion to preach the gospel and hopefully pray that God turns people's hearts to them.
Mm-hmm.
We can stop abortion, and we should. We can be influential by speaking the truth, and we should. But should we be happy enough to the point where we stop? No, Christian, you haven't done your duty. Your duty is to preach the gospel, to share the gospel, and to have people turn their hearts towards the Lord.
Exactly.
This is a tool. We use abortion to point out the sin. I mean, it is horrific that we as a country can murder babies in the womb. Heartlessly, it seems as though. Mm-hmm. We should point that out, speak the truth. That's a baby, that's a life. And it's evil to do so. And point out the sin and the heartlessness that it takes to do that, and then appeal to people and say, this is sin. You need to get right with the Lord. If you can kill your baby, mother, if you can kill your kill your baby father, you are not right with God.
Mm-mm.
You are embracing the destruction of innocent life. That's called murder.
Yes.
And your heart is not right. You need to repent. You need to turn to the Lord. You need to ask for his forgiveness. Roe v. Wade is a small part. I'm not going to say small part. The destruction of babies in the womb is not small at all. It's a victory. Don't get me wrong. We're happy. We're happy. But what's going on in our country is just heartless. These lines are being drawn, and people are proudly championing the ability to kill their own children. So much so, Ms. Nancy Pelosi, the wonderful Speaker of the House. What's good about it? It's not a good morning. It's not a good morning.
Yeah.
You've seen it, right? But Jason Whitlock, something's going on with Jason Whitlock. He was always sympathetic to Christianity. He's now openly claiming to be a Christian. He has a show that you can see on Rumble. It's called Fearless. And let me tell you something. He is fearless. He brings the wood to the Speaker of the House. Listen to Jason Whitlock on this issue.
Play a clip from Nancy Pelosi earlier today, and the thing that blows my mind is these politicians are elected and their job is to uphold the Constitution. I don't even think they understand the Constitution. Here, Nancy Pelosi has been in politics for nearly 50 years. I don't know if she even understands the Constitution. She thinks that the right to an abortion is a constitutional right. It was a bad judicial decision. It's not a constitutional right, but here's Nancy Pelosi melting down.
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one. It's such a contradiction. Yesterday, the states cannot make laws governing the constitutional right to bear arms. And today, they're saying the exact reverse, that the states can overturn a constitutional right for 50 years, a constitutional right for a woman having the right to choose. The hypocrisy is raging, but the harm is endless.
So, the Second Amendment is a constitutional right. It's the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. And so for a Supreme Court to say, hey, look, you can't infringe upon this right that was the Second Amendment. It's fundamental to the U.S. Abortion, there is no abortion amendment that I'm aware of. Is it the 25th? Is it the 28th? Is it the 3rd? Is it the... Name the amendment, or name it where it's a constitutional right. What they're actually saying is that this wasn't part of the Constitution. It's not a part of the Constitution. Therefore, the states need to decide this individually. There is no hypocrisy. There is no contradiction here between the decision they made yesterday about gun laws in New York. Because again, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, that means it was there, was the Constitution ratified in 1787, I believe. And so it's been there since then, and you can't infringe upon it. And so there has never been a constitutional right to an abortion. So she's just lying, or she doesn't know what she's talking about, and she's incompetent and doesn't understand the Constitution.
Well, there you go.
That was
pretty
good.
clear.
That was good.
Yeah, I don't see how you get
And if you've been in
around it.
Congress for 50 years, you ought to know that. I'm just saying.
Listen, they are losing a lot of money. It goes to the money. It's not just the sin.
Oh, no.
It's the money.
It's a big business.
It's huge business.
And what you have going on now, people, open your eyes. Just open your eyes, please. When you have Dick's Sporting Goods, willing to pay an employee $4,000 to go and get an abortion, travel expenses, pay for the abortion. That's an economical business decision. I'd rather pay you $4,000 to kill your baby instead of however much it costs to bring the baby into the world, to put the baby on your insurance plan. Heck, $4,000 is a drop in the bucket.
Relatively speaking.
And it's just, again, as Christians, we speak the truth concerning this, but that's not where we stop.
Mm-mm.
We must be able to use this issue of abortion, again, to turn people's hearts to the Lord, to admit the sin, to confess the sin, and to respond to God's grace. This last video, before we get into the discussion, how do we actually deal with this? This is an interesting video. A mother got pregnant young, struggled with the baby, brought her child up. Her child is now an adult. And she said the reason why she chose to have her daughter was because she saw the pictures. Mm. And I'm sorry, she said it wasn't a fetus. That's a baby.
Mm.
I can't kill my baby. And so the mother was pro-life. Well, the daughter is pro-choice. Even knowing the mother's story.
Wow.
This is unbelievable. This Roe v. Wade is actually, and the issue of abortion is splitting families. Look at this.
Days after that Supreme Court decision, emotion still running high.
I feel like my country doesn't care about me.
But for some, the passionate difference is playing out at home. Nicole and daughter Kathleen, a tight-knit pair from the Midwest, can't agree. Nicole was a 21-year-old college student back in 1988 when she met Kathleen's father.
How tough was it for you being so young and having a baby?
Very tough. We didn't have money. We had cardboard boxes for tables. We didn't have a TV.
Pregnant and scared, Nicole says she considered an abortion, still recalling that first doctor visit more than 30 years ago.
She showed me just the picture of where the fetus was at that point, and to me that looked an awful lot like a baby.
So abortion was off the table for you?
It was off the table immediately.
So Nicole is now against abortion, while her daughter firmly believes in a woman's right to choose.
I have the right to control my own body, my own life, my own future, my own destiny.
And for you, Kathleen, to know that you formed her opinion against abortion.
I hate it.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't want to be a pro-life mascot.
You're not. You're just a wonderful person that is in this world. And you're my daughter.
Yeah. Their differences are intense, they say, but so is their tight bond.
It wouldn't be our relationship if this wasn't something that I could talk to you about, disagree with you about, and try to convince you on. That's part of what makes us so close, I feel, that we talk.
If I can't try to convince you that you should have killed me.
That's bizarre.
That is bizarre.
Wow.
That's bizarro world.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Jay, you there? Jay, can we hear you, Jay? Oh, hold on. Jay, you there now?
I'm here now.
Can we hear you?
I can hear him.
I can hear him. Hey,
All right,
Jay.
All right, Jay.
Yeah, the pastor says that we're supposed to answer all your questions.
That's right.
Well.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
So am I on? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, everybody can hear you. You had some questions. We just saw where a child was actually trying to convince her mother.
Oh my.
Well, you know what? To be fair, she didn't try to convince her mother to kill her. She said the mother should have the choice to kill her.
Yeah.
That is still weird to me.
Yes.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is. There was a T-shirt somebody was wearing at a protest saying, "I wish my mother would have aborted me."
Oh,
it was
wonderful.
It was a very ironic T-shirt.
Oh,
Yeah, very
wonderful.
interesting. Mm-hmm.
It's foolish.
That is foolish.
Yeah, it is. Well. Now,
all right, Jay, you had some questions. Up until this point, we've been talking about, does Roe v. Wade, should Christians take a victory lap about the Roe v. Wade decision, or has our battle only just begun? We should use this issue of abortion to turn people's heart to the Lord. For the Christian, the battle isn't done yet until we bring them to the Lord. Go ahead.
I don't see why we need to reconcile friends. In my opinion, I think that
reconcile friends. What do you mean?
Yes. I think that we can be grateful for the many kids who are going to get a chance at life and hear the gospel someday, and there will be no killing in the womb in certain states. I think we can rejoice and be grateful for that, and say truth has won the day, and at the same time, point people and use this as an opportunity to point people to an even greater truth, which is the gospel. And so I don't see how we have to have one or the other. We can both celebrate and yet recognize that this is just a small victory and what we would hope to be a greater one in people coming to faith in Christ. Mm-hmm. But my question
let me say this though.
Uh-oh.
Those two aren't equal. Yes, we should celebrate in that murder has been, and again, it hasn't stopped. It's just not codified federally. Mm-hmm. But again, is that the mission of the church to stop murder, to stop stealing, to stop lying? Of course we want those sins to stop. But is that our goal, or is our goal to preach a message in which, hey, you need to be reconciled to the God of the universe because judgment is coming? I think our express specific purpose is the gospel of reconciliation with our God. I'm not saying you don't celebrate. Of course we do. Of course we do. But here's my emphasis. We can't stop there. That's not the end goal, right?
I hear from your statement, I hear which is a part of one of my questions. I hear a worriness that there are Christians who may see this as the ultimate victory and miss that, hey, this is not our main mission. While this is a victory, small lowercase v, this isn't the victory, capital V. And I hear that, emphasis, and to me, I'm thinking, well, yes, maybe I'm naive, but I'm saying yes. That seems to be obvious that we can celebrate. Yeah. This is a great win. Yeah. While knowing as Christians that the even greater win is. But so, just for the sake of people listening and maybe those who may listen to this, let's talk about this for a second. What do you think? Now, this is going to Eric. What do you think the danger is in over celebrating this win?
It is part of the other battle that we are fighting and will have to continue to fight, and that is the battle to put social justice in its correct place. Because, and this I think is exactly what Pastor's talking about, because if there is any temptation at all to cease and desist our battle, it would be because we think our job's done. Our job's not close to being done. Whatever side you're on the issue of abortion, that is on the one hand, depending on how you're looking at it, it is either social justice or it is sin. It's one or the other. But that's not our mission. Our mission is to bring the lost to the cross. And that's what we're about. Issue or no issue. That's what we're about. There's a number of issues we can bring up here and have been over the last couple of years. But the bottom line, the foundation is Christ in him crucified.
What do you think the danger is in not celebrating this as a victory for Christians? What danger is in that?
Well, doesn't it really matter how you're celebrating? I mean, I've seen people that are pro-life, they're going out just like they would with protests, holding signs. I haven't seen a lot of celebrating like parties or anything, because we're celebrating that lives are not being lost. Because for years, we have just snuffed out millions of lives. In fact, there are certain minorities that would not be as minorities right now if it hadn't been that way. But the word celebrating, when I think about this, I am relieved that this has been overturned because it wasn't supposed to have been done in the first place. In fact, I just got a link to a movie that I think the Daily Wire put on, and they were talking about the history of how this went into. If you saw what they did to get this through, you talk about lies, and you talk about the things that they toted that were supposed to come about. It did absolutely the opposite, and we knew it would. And now we have our Supreme Court identifying and saying this was done erroneously and making it right. That is a reason to celebrate. How you celebrate is the other thing, depending on who you're with. And obviously, you know, I'm not going out on the streets and having a party, but there are people of kindred spirit that we go, thank God for this change in the law of our land. And that is reason to celebrate, but there's still work to be done. I saw a sign that it looked like an Amish man holding this sign, and it said, "Now you have 9 months to build an orphanage." It was kind of interesting because I go, you know what? You think about all the lives that have been stopped, heartbeats that have been never seen the light of day, or let's even go farther and say the partial birth abortion that people were voting down. I watched it on C-SPAN when it first came up, and I was just horrified at some of the rhetoric that was going back and forth, lies that were being said about, because they want that to go through, because then they harvest the organs. There's so much evil, and it's like almost to the, we read the history books about Nazi Germany and things that have happened, and I go, oh, they had nothing on what we've had happen in the last 40, 50 years. It's been horrific. So, I stood on Michigan Avenue with Joe Scheidler in front of an abortion clinic when I was in college, and stood with people, and he did sidewalk counseling. That man was not there just to save children. He was to help prevent women from being traumatized too. And he left a law business. He was a top lawyer, and he was such a kind man. And to watch him interact with women, because he knew what was going on. Secretively, some of these places were performing abortions on girls that weren't even pregnant just to make money. And I'm like, there's nothing safe about abortion. So not just for the baby, but anyways, I've gone on too long.
That's all right. That was the easy questions. Jay's about to come with the hard ones now for y'all.
Oh, really? No, you're going to answer hard. No, Jay, give your hard questions to Pastor James.
I don't. No. I don't. I don't have hard questions. I am curious though. Now, I think you brought up a good point. I think it's worth asking people, what are they celebrating? I think there may be an assumption that we're assuming everybody's celebrating the same thing with this decision, and there could be people who are celebrating different aspects of the decision made. So I think that'd be interesting to hear what Christians would be grateful for over this decision. But I'm curious, when I hear that's not the mission of the church, and the mission of the church is to preach the gospel, when I hear that, I immediately think two things. So am I not to care for the needs of others, the practical needs of others? Is that futile? And not in the sense of, we're not talking one's greater than the other. I think very few evangelical Bible-believing Christians would argue that giving somebody a cup of cold water versus spreading the gospel, that giving somebody cold water is greater. I wouldn't say most people would say that, but when I hear the statement, that's not our mission, and I do, two things come. So should I not care about the practical needs of other people, in this case, unborn babies, and then in this context, and then why do we vote on non-gospel issues in America? What's the point of voting then? Who cares?
All right, here's the first point.
Well, oh, James, you answer this one? Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
No, you can't do that.
No, he's on. Go ahead, James.
He said I can't.
No. You're the boss.
No. Here's the thing. It's not that, like you said, I do believe one is over the other.
Yes.
And here's the reason why. How many soup kitchens have fed people for many, many years and never once shared the gospel with them? That's a problem. You see it as a problem, right?
I do. Yes.
Okay.
And I agree with you. I do agree one's over the other. I guess I'm asking for those listening, where does the other one fall? Like,
as a means to an end. I offer soup and sandwich so that you will come in. Once you're here, since I'm giving you the soup and the sandwich, now I share the eternal gospel with you. So
wait, but doesn't that come across as you don't care? Can't that come across as you're not giving a soup and sandwich simply because they're made in God's image and that they simply should have food in their stomach? I mean, is that not good enough? Why does it have to be a means to an end?
Because they go into hell if they die without the gospel.
We are not simply a sanctified social service agency.
Mm-hmm. See, and
we need to. It's not a either or. And I think some of these situational ethics are from the devil as well, but we won't get into that right now. We can do both. Mm-hmm. You know, some of us can chew gum and walk at the same time. And spiritually speaking, the church has to do that. We don't have a choice.
But again, our goal is, when Christ said, you shall go to Jerusalem, Judea, and then the outermost parts, he didn't say to feed the hungry.
Nope.
He said to be my witnesses.
Yep.
So that is, and this is the whole point of it with the whole Roe v. Wade. Our mission is to be his witnesses. Now, along the way, Christians have opened up orphanages. They've opened up hospitals. Christians have sacrificed to the detriment of their own health. They have loved people at their own expense.
Yes.
But all of that is so that we can have a platform to share God's eternal gospel. Because without it, Jay, they will something worse than being hungry is going to happen to them. Mm-hmm. Something worse than not having medical care is going to happen to them. Something worse than an abortion is going to happen, and that is facing Jesus without his blood applied to your account. Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate. That's why we're to be his witnesses. And this is the whole point of this. Roe v. Wade, again, who's not celebrating? But Jay, there's going to be something worse than Roe v. Wade, worse than abortion. And that is the wrath of God. That's our mission. That's our mission. I not only think it's not loving, I think it's evil to have the gospel and to feed people in a soup line and never tell them about the coming judgment.
Agreed.
Is that not evil, Jay? Is that not evil?
I agree with you. What about those who are struggling with 1 John? They say, if your brother is hungry and you have not fed him or given him something to eat, then doubt whether the love of God is. I'm paraphrasing like crazy.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a brother. He's in the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That context was not a soup kitchen. That context was there's a brother in Christ, in the church, who again, not because of sin. If he's sinning, because he also gave an instruction to the church: if a man don't work, a man don't eat. So we're not talking about a man who's lazy. Mm-hmm. We're talking about a man or a person who's in a situation of no doing of their own. If you see a brother in that situation and you can turn off your heart to him, then John is saying, I don't see how the love of God resides in you. That is something wholly different than soup kitchens, giving food to people who, one, not in Christ, two, refuse to get a job. That's two totally different things.
You should see Pastor's facial expression.
Yeah, get a job. Get a job. Now, I'm not gonna say be like a close family member of mine who in the 80s and 90s, walking down the streets in New Orleans, people would say, "Hey man, you got $1?" He would whip out his wad of money and say, "I got lots of money. Can I get one, brother?" "No, get a job," and put the money back in his pocket and keep walking. Wow. I'm not saying do that. That's mocking and that's belittling, and I think that was his point. But you don't do people a favor by addressing their felt needs without addressing their more pressing spiritual needs.
And here's the other thing about that. We are under specific guidelines and directions. We are on a mission. And as we can do it, we can attempt to meet physical needs.
Yeah.
But only after the spiritual need is met. And we have, in some cases, voices in the background, even in some cases, people we're trying to serve who are going to tell us how to do what our mission is. In other words, you ain't got to tell me nothing about no Jesus. Just give me something to eat. No, that is not our mission. And our mission is a two-way conversation. There's no third party that needs to be involved.
You agree with that, right, Jay?
Yeah. I feel like sometimes I need to give a preamble before. Every time I get on this show, I'm always trying to bring opposite questions, and I feel like people think, where is Jay? And I'm like,
no, man. I'm just
I have been discipled by James Pittman. I agree with James Pittman. I like to bring up questions that I think other people might be struggling with.
Right? I got you.
I feel like I need to clarify this.
Jay, I'm glad for my sake that you clarified. I'm like, wait.
I feel like I need to clarify.
No, I knew that.
All right.
I knew that.
So all right. So let me give you another one. So, because y'all saying something interesting, and I just want to see how you think about this. So, why would you, if you're walking down the street and you see a young girl being attacked by an older man,
and
you step, why would you stop that?
Why would you stop it?
Yeah, why would you stop it?
Because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Point.
So where does that thinking?
Good Samaritan.
But why is that not the whole it's the right thing to do? Why is that not celebrated in Roe v. Wade? Because it's simply the right thing to do. Like, why does that not apply here either?
It does apply. It's the right thing to do. Stop the murder of children.
And we can celebrate that. Hey, the right thing to do was done.
Yeah.
And while knowing at the same time, it's not. We need to share the gospel for sure, but we can still celebrate. Hey, this was the right thing to do.
No, and like I said, we at the beginning of the show, we did say we're elated it happened. Absolutely, we can celebrate it. we could be happy that the overturning of Roe v. Wade happened, because that means less children will be murdered in the womb.
Yes.
So no one's saying you don't celebrate, but you don't spike the ball, because you ain't in the end zone yet.
Amen.
You see what I'm saying?
Man, okay, so what do y'all think about this? So I was brought with this one day. Someone told me, well, I don't think the pro-choice people are for murder. I think they are for a woman's right to choose what happens in her body. They're not for murder. They're for what happens to
her body.
Her body.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. That's the perfect segue. Here's the last thing I wanted to share. I had a cousin the other day. He went on to Facebook and faced the family. Here's what he said. He said, I agree that a woman should have control over her body. But here's the problem. That baby, it ain't your body. It is his or her body. Yes, it is a body that is connected to your body, and yes, it resides in your body. But it is not your body. That baby is a human being in a different body. That human being deserves life. So do what you want with, all caps, your body, but understand that your baby is not you. He then shares Psalms 139, 13 through 16.
Oh, I didn't know your cousin did all that.
Yeah, for you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works. And I know this very well. My frame was not hidden from you. You when I was made in secret, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body. All my days were written in your book and ordained for me before one of them came to be. And so again, we dispel lies with truth. And here's the truth: it ain't your body. It's that baby's body, and that baby is human. That baby is human. And we talked about this earlier, Jay. If you don't want the baby, then don't have sex. How about that? The stork didn't bring it. You brought it.
Thank you.
You brought it by your actions.
I had a non-Christian friend that said, before you go and sleep with someone, you better be ready to spend the next 18 years raising a child with them. And I thought, wow, because you don't think about past even just the birth sometimes. 18 years. That's a lot. It's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a little crazy
people in the chat room.
Yeah, in the chat room. Ain't this something?
What happened?
Nothing.
Before you get to it, did someone said if women can choose to abort, then men should choose not to have to pay child support. Y'all agree with that?
You talking about Dave Chappelle?
No. I didn't. He said that. It was somebody else.
That's what he said.
I didn't know he said that.
Dave Chappelle said he would say I'm for abortion. He said that. He said, but now let's be honest, women. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. If you can kill it, I should be able to abandon it.
Yep.
He said, otherwise maybe we're all wrong about this issue. So,
this is this is wrong in all kinds of ways, and the foundation is selfishness. I don't know where, and again, I'm understanding that we've got the whole issue of situational ethics involved here. But there is no situation where a woman should have a choice to kill a child. Let me be specific. Kill a baby. There's no situation involving inconvenience. There's no situation. There's a baby in there now. And that's where it used to be the bottom line.
Now, I know people would, non-Christians, maybe even some Christians, they would say, well, at what point is it a baby, right?
Conception.
At what point? Conception?
That's the answer. Conception.
Have y'all talked about birth control then? Have y'all talked about contraception? Have y'all talked about that and like where the line draws with that?
With conception? I mean, with
birth control and other.
Yeah, we did talk about it. Abstinence. No, I'm playing. No, that's a different show. That's a different.
Okay. I was just.
No, because you know what? Are you saying can you use birth control when it comes to married people? Yeah, but we just handled 99.99% of all abortions, I believe, in this country, and that is the Christian way, the God way, the truth way is you do not have sex outside of marriage.
Period.
And that is what that will cure a lot of ills when it pertains to this issue here. So, well, we gotta wrap up. Jay, go ahead and what's your last word here, Jay?
Man, look, man. I just need to. Like, I'm trying to look out for myself now because there's some people listening. Look, I agree with James and James decided for me. That's my last word. I gotta protect myself, man. Some people think I'm going left. I'm not going left, y'all. I just need y'all to know that.
I got you, Jay.
I got you.
Yeah, good.
Lisajoy, Eric, give us some hope. Last words.
God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. We're looking at the headlines and everything. God has not changed. There might be some things a lot of people don't want to hear, but guess what? It is the truth. And we are still going to have to face him at the end. And it's going to be based on his guidelines, his laws. And any other law is not going to be counting.
Oh, I am overjoyed that it was reversed. I'm thinking with all the, back in the 80s, my girlfriend and I put together an evening service to tell people the realities because no one wanted to talk about them then. And I remember putting that service together, and it took a lot of guts. And we would stand out on the streets, and I had a sweatshirt it was a pink sweatshirt with the Statue of Liberty holding a baby. And it said, "Fight the fight, save the unborn." And I went down and I put, feet to it. We couldn't get away with that now. People would go after you. But God cares about us all. And he forgives. And if people have had abortions, they can be forgiven.
That's one of the
that's important, because when we start talking about all this, they go, if someone has had it, there's victims, not just the children, but the women that have gone through this, the men who have signed off on it. There's just it hurts everyone, and it hurts our society, hurts our world, and most of all, it hurts our Lord. So
yeah, and that should be part of the message that the church brings to the world, right? That the power of the cross, the power of forgiveness, and for any woman or man involved in an abortion, guess what? The cross is powerful enough even to wipe that away.
Yeah.
Even to clear that conscience.
Yeah.
And so, but that's our message. Our message is the cross. It is being reconciled. It's appealing to people, compelling people to be reconciled with the God of the universe. Because in the end, we all going to have to face him.
Yep.
We're all going to face him. So I think for Christians, we use this issue. We use it. We use it for his glory. And we preach the gospel. Thank you all. Thank you, Jay, for joining us.
You're welcome.
From Tennessee.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you again.
Nice hearing your voice, Jay.
Yep,
thank
you too.
Again, Eric and Lisajoy. And thank you all for being with us. God bless. And remember, Jesus is still on the throne. Till next time.
citizens.